And remember,
as always,
it's great to be a Hawk.
Stupid. Okay, so now we're gonna get tuned, but make sure to remember, class, that we do have a test on Love Shack Monday. So make sure you practice for that. It's looking a little rough at the moment. Okay, let's get tuned. Why is it important to practice?
It's important to practice so that you can help the orchestra be good as a group. Because if you're off, you're gonna make everybody else off, and that's not cool.
Why is it important to practice?
It's important to practice so you can become good at playing the violin.
Why is it important to practice?
Well, I would say practicing is very important because if you don't practice, for example, in an orchestra class, you're going to get a bad grade. But in real life, if you're practicing, you're going to be a beautiful violin player.
Why is it important to practice?
It's important to practice so that you don't get things wrong and Mrs. Shinwolf doesn't yell at you.
Why is it important to practice?
So Miss Shinwolf doesn't get mad at you.
Why is it important to practice?
So you don't get mad at yourself.
Why is it important to practice?
Because it's not important not to practice.
Why is it important to practice?
So you can be as good as me.
Why is it important to practice?
So you can advance to better songs, and you can also advance in different techniques, and you can go on to play better things.
So, Miss Shinwolf, why is it good to practice?
Well, there are many reasons it's great to practice, actually. I'm an orchestra teacher, and I've played viola for, I would say, at least 5 years. And in those 5 years, I have learned a lot about practicing. Practicing just increases your memory of the song. And one thing that is important to me as an orchestra teacher is that I don't get the chance to go over really tough sections with each of my students every day. We don't have enough time to do that in class, and sometimes before a concert, we don't get to do everything we need to do to play the piece as music, not just notes, when we're focused on notes.
That makes sense. That makes much more sense than the other testimonials. They're kind of crazy.
Okay, so what did I do wrong? So first of all, I am not in the right position to be tuning. Second of all, I only tuned a little bit of my strings, and from what I hear, they don't sound so good. Also, I used very small brush strokes, and I pizzicato, which doesn't give me the best tuning ability.
So to get a good tune, to tune it well, you have to, generally you start with an A and make sure you have an A frequency. Noah, could you play me an A?
Okay.
Okay, we've all been there. That time when it's like 2 in the morning and you have to practice for the next day and your parents are asleep, or maybe you just don't even want to practice in front of your parents. You kind of have to, because you have to play with dynamics and you have to make sure that it's loud enough. Play like if you would play in class.
Terribly.
Okay, so that was really bad. And that was because I wasn't isolating my fingering. If you play too fast and you don't focus on the fingering, then you get all of them mixed up. You get all of them wrong, and instead of shifting to the right position or changing to the correct note, you end up doing a note that's totally not even supposed to be there.
So what I did was I isolated the fingering and slowed down and went over again on a part that I messed up on, so I made sure I had it fixed instead of just ignoring the mistake and moving on.
What did I do wrong? Practically everything. Okay, so in order to be a good musician, you have to have good posture because good posture gives you a good sound.
So the reason that I played good was because I had good posture and sat up straight and stood at the front of my chair. And with that, you can play correctly and play with good sound.
Something. Abby. Wait,
Abby.
Okay, I'll call you right back. Sorry. Okay, so you have to put your phone away somewhere where you can't get it because if not, you will be totally out of focus and that's not good. You have to practice.
I think I'm okay. I need to practice.
I'll give you some ranch later.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sorry too. Can you just stop coming in here already? I'm trying to practice. What the hell? So what I should have done there is just plain told Noah to just leave me alone and let me practice. That way I could remain distraction-free and completely focused during my practice session.
Okay, so what did I do wrong? I was playing too fast and I wasn't focusing on the notes or the bowing. If you play too fast, then you get caught up on playing too fast that you don't play it correctly. Don't play fast. I think that was like the best practice session ever. I think we're really gonna nail that test on Monday. Stick 5? Woo!
I think there's too many people in here.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Why it's not good to have a bad environment is because you can't get anything done. Am I right?
You're right.
You're right.
His breathing was so loud.